Welcome back to STR the Best. I'm your host, Michael Chang. It's my great pleasure to welcome Julie Lange to the show. Julie, welcome.
Hey, so good to be here.
Thanks for taking time out of your busy day. I'm super excited to have you on the show. You're one of my favorite people, and
Oh,
you just launched just because of joy that I know goes through your work and what you've been doing. So I'm really happy and proud to have you on the program to share your journey as early as it is. But why don't you just first start off by introducing yourself to the audience?
okay. Thanks, Michael. That means a lot to hear the word proud coming from you. My name is Julie Lange, and I am originally from the Northeast, but my family and I moved to Dallas, Texas 2.5 years ago after living overseas for the better part of a decade. And yeah, I met Michael this past summer after reaching out. And since August, my husband and I have been on the STR journey and have recently secured 2 units and launched. So we're super pumped, and I'll use that word proud too.
You have a lot to be proud of. So let's dive into that. I think it's great to share the beginning of someone's journey. We have a lot of guests that's been doing it for a few years now, but you're really right on the cusp. So when did you launch your 2 units?
We launched our 2 units October 31, actually.
October 31. We're recording this today is November 13th. So you're 2 weeks into your journey. Oh, 2 weeks. Okay. When did you sign the lease? So these 2 units, did you buy them or did you lease these units?
We went with the arbitrage model, and it was like a slow burn for us to dial in on what exactly we wanted to do. My husband ran a company overseas for a number of years, and we just really enjoyed that work and that process. He ran the business, but I was co-pilot in so many ways, just in support, and I cared as deeply about the business as he did.
Mhm.
And we really loved that dynamic of working together. And I feel like just as who we are as people, we're a little bit more entrepreneurial in general. We had been thinking about what we wanted to do together next, and we went down a couple of different rabbit holes. I think I saw your videos probably for the first time this time last year, Michael. And yeah, I think it was like Thanksgiving. Just kind of, through the scroll on Instagram, a couple of your videos. And I think that's when I first started just sending them off to Andy, because we were real time, like just having real conversations about what we wanted to do with our lives, what we want to do with our time. I could go on a philosophical side note of just what European living is like in comparison to American living, but family is so important to us. Our relationship together is so important to us. And the American lifestyle, just you find yourself just like going in so many different directions that it was a high priority for us to find something that we could like integrate together on, be co-passionate about. And so we were looking, and I saw your videos, I think a year ago, Michael, and it's so cool to see like where we've come.
Yeah. And a lot can change. A lot can change in a year, especially like if you're, or even in a few months, if you're really just focused on change. And now that's what I really want to focus on today's conversation is building something with your significant other, with your husband, with Andy, who I've had a pleasure now knowing too. And Andy and I have a little back and forth. I find it really funny actually, and I really enjoy our banter. Actually, that's probably the right way to frame it, our banter. And I give it, and he gives it back to me, and I love it. But was there a memorable story as you were setting up your 2 rental arbitrage units? Anything you want to share with the audience? Like 45 seconds?
Oh my God. Okay. What I will share with the audience for anyone who's thinking about getting into the rental arbitrage or STR business, it is so much harder. Like Michael and Liz did such a good job of prepping us. They were like, the setup is exhausting, like buckle up. And I said that we moved from overseas. We've done hard things, but it was so trying. And yeah, I think a funny story like related to that is when we finally did it, we set up our 2 units in 5 days. My husband's there for the first part, and then I was there to wrap it up on my own. And when it was time to fly out, like it was like nonstop, minute to minute. And when I finally got to the airport, I called Andy and I was like, I did it. And he was just like, how does it feel? And I said, I feel like I want to cry. And then I did. I just started openly weeping in the middle of the airport. Oh my God. It was like physically, I was like so exhausted. There was like a little bit of a shake, even physically for me, just pride. And it was like, we did it. We did it. And yeah, it was something to come like full circle, standing in an airport, openly weeping after having
It's
set up these units. Yeah.
yeah, no, it's not. It's a lot of work. I mean, setting up a business from in 5 days is a ton of work. It sounds like you like after you finish a marathon or you finish something very strenuous,
Yeah,
but you were
exactly.
successful,
Yes.
and then it's
Yes.
all those emotions, just like you can't control it. You're so physically tired, you can't
Yeah.
control it.
I don't even know if I would have had he not asked me, how do you feel? I feel like I just want to start crying. Yeah. Just the release. It was like, just, yeah, it was great.
How's it feel? Okay, so that was 2 weeks ago. Like, how's it feel 2 weeks? How are you guys doing? Like those two units, how are they doing?
Yeah. This I would love to just give you props for because you had said at the onset of our journey together, you were like, let's just take it slow. Let's start out with 2 units. Because Andy and I are like, we're ambitious and we're eager. And we just wanted to like take on the world. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for helping us to hedge what we wanted to do. And Michael's advice, yeah, you were just like, let's start out with 2, see how it goes. Let's work out the kinks and then scale. And you made this comment which I really appreciated, which was you don't even know if you're gonna Airbnb. You don't even know if you're gonna enjoy hosting. And I thought that was like such solid advice. I am happy to report that I freaking love it. I am loving the act of hosting. I love seeing all the names come through. We moved from Central Europe to Central Texas, and like the names and people that I come in contact now on a daily basis are so different than the names and people that I was coming in contact with on a daily basis living overseas.
Yeah.
And it's just so fun to again see these
Yeah.
people come through and have the opportunity. I'm half a country away, but I'm still hosting them and I'm still able to offer them an experience that I hope is going to add to their lives. And that's something that I take a lot of joy in. Yeah, I'm loving it.
That's great. No, I think the joy that you have doing this, I think that's an important part of running a
Mhm.
business, right? Like you have to like something, like deeply like something of it, whether it's the
Mhm.
hosting part, whether it's the analytics, whether it's the real estate, or for Liz, it's when we first started, it was like the real estate. Like she loved the real estate. For me, it wasn't the real
Mm.
estate. At least in the beginning, I like it more now, but for me, it was like the business. I liked I like operating businesses. I like building businesses. That's what really spoke to me. It's how we've worked together. I think so. Like we both like certain things. And now she understands a lot more on the business side of it now too, actually. And I understand a lot more on the real estate side. So it's just more of a convert.
Yeah,
But
that's so
and it,
similar.
yeah. So can you talk a little bit about how you and Andy work together? Like how maybe
Mm.
that's just maybe not like the day-to-day tactical part right now, but
Uh-huh.
as you were maybe touch on a little bit about when you guys were doing the business together, when you guys were overseas, and then now how do you land it on Airbnb being the business that you guys wanted to do, and then ultimately execute once you decided Airbnb was that then being able to execute this business plan over the last few weeks, few months?
Yeah, I think in general, we're very complementary. Like our skill sets are very complementary, Andy and I. I'm like big picture, visionary, like we can do anything and let's dream. Let's dream what it could be, come up, narrow it down to what we want, and then go for it, like vision casting. Andy is so good to like tunnel down and really get focused on the operations, like the whole aspect of building a business. It's his sweet spot. We're going to build these spreadsheets and we're going to integrate with these platforms and this software, which you've been like so hugely helpful with. But processes and how to just think very clearly of how to, yeah, optimize operations. And yeah, I think I care a lot about experience and aesthetics, and he cares, and he does too, but he cares a lot about honing in on what our profit margins are going to actually look like. And I do too. But if you're looking at a spectrum, we're not like on either ends of the spectrum, but we're like middle left and right of a spectrum. And yeah, it's been a good balance
That's
for us
good
in the
because like
past. So,
when you're like too far, actually when you're like too far one end.
Right.
There's just so little common ground. It's hard to find a common language. You got to have to be a little
Right.
like 70-30. I think Liz and I kind of went through it. It's like 70-30. We're both like skewed in that way. And then there's just some common
Yeah.
ground that you both can drive off of. So you're not like speaking like different languages.
Mhm.
And then maybe talk a little bit about now, right now that he was there for in the beginning to help you, and then you standing up now. How do you divide the day to day?
I'm looking at it on a daily, and I'm the one getting like all the notifications, like doing the actual hosting part
Mhm.
of it for this time. Our goal is to automate and eventually bring on some help. Yeah, so we can work on the business and not in the business. Just quote my good friend Michael Chang. But yeah, I would say that the split right now is probably 80-20.
Oh, he's funny. Okay.
And that's just because of where we're at. We have lofty goals, and the plan is that those scales will equalize at some point when Andy's not as committed to his 9 to 5 right now.
Yeah, Andy, like we just talk, maybe a little background what you guys do outside of Airbnb, and then also the family life too, right? Like it's the real. I
Yeah.
mean, I have 2 kids under 2, man. It is like not. It is the real deal. So maybe talk a
It's
little bit about that.
Yeah, it's no joke. Yeah, so we have 3 kids, and I remember talking to someone not too long ago just about this venture, and they very complimentary and saying that they were really impressed and that they couldn't believe what we were able to do, what we were able to accomplish with having 3 kids and 2 full-time jobs. And this person's background was in sales, and I said, "You in sales, like your why has got to be rock solid." And so we're not doing these things in spite of having our 3 kids. Like that is the why for what
Yeah.
we're doing. That is the thing that's driving us. And yeah, Andy is an exec at a health tech company here in Dallas, and I work in mortgage and real estate as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we both have full-time jobs and 3 kids.
And for the business,
Yeah.
I love how you brought up that point. And yeah, the why is why is so critical. Alluding back to your point when you were at the airport, when you were done, like how that drives and it really pushes you. And it's also it's almost not even about the money actually at that point. It's not like, oh, they can make like this amount of money. It's just like, I'm doing it because of like my kid. For me, it goes to my kids, right? Like I want to build a business so I can be a present parent to them
Mhm.
and support them. It's not about, oh, I think I'm going to make a couple $1,000s more on this unit. It's because like it builds
Right.
towards a goal. It just if you could just talk a little bit about that, like what is your why and how does building a business, Airbnb business, whatever business it is, how does building a business drive your why?
Yeah, yeah. Do you remember our first video conference call? You had just come back from Italy, that crazy flight that you had. Yeah, but in that conversation, Andy and I think had both shared with you at that time that live it like we started our family under like crazy circumstances. Our first baby was born with a very rare and very serious health condition, stage 4 cancer. My 12-year-old who now plays the cello and is taking French and is in a leadership magnet, like amazing person, really just such a special person. But she was born with stage 4 cancer. And so our introduction to family life and to parenthood started like zeroed in on what the brass tacks is, what really
Yeah.
matters here. And we were fortunate in that way to have that perspective of just like how fragile life is, how fragile our relationships are, how important family is, and that we don't really like compromise on that. So we also were able to live overseas on either end of that sickness. And so this is the thing that I remember sharing with you is that we started our family in an environment where you work to live. And that's like a very European concept. Like I'm doing what needs to be done so that I can be present and involved and connected with the people in my life who matter to me. And I experience things, and like
Yeah.
just the act of getting a cup of coffee on a side cafe is so much different there than it is here, where it's like people are living to work. And the long story short too, we just wanted, it was really important to us to be able to return to that center. And I think in anything that you're doing, like you just had your second baby, right?
Yep.
And it's like
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh my God, a month. Oh my God. Yeah. Like you have these things that like get added to your life or transitions that happen, and your perspective starts to shift and it starts to grow and expand, which is so important and beautiful. But to be able to like find your center, like what
Yeah.
is your center, like what is really important to us, and how do we really operate together as a couple and as parents and as friends And the explosion happens, whatever that may be, an international move, the start of a business, the introduction of a new baby into your family dynamic. Like your life is going to explode at some point, but then it's let's find our center. Let's
Yeah.
return to center. So for us, starting this business together is like part of us doing that, is
Yeah.
like returning to
Returning back to that ethos of working to live, not living to work, which I think a lot of it's here. And there's this big hustle culture here in the US that's not as prevalent overseas, especially in Central Europe. And it gets glorified here. And I think there is good reason to. I think that's a reason why there is this American exceptionalism.
Sure,
I read this
absolutely.
I read this article where last 30 years, America has created 7 multi-trillion-dollar companies, whereas
Yeah.
Europe has failed to create $100 billion company. I don't know if it's true or not, but just it gives you just the disparity. And again, it's not a value decision on one way of life or the other, right? It's just a presentation of the results. But I think there is some balance to it, especially when you have a family, and really more like what's important to you. And I think that's
Right.
where
Yeah.
this business, at least for us, in the way we talk about it, is it's one of those things that really can actually provide a way out of that working to live culture here, right? Because you can scale it, automate it, and do it in a way where you have some optionality to continue to spend 100% of your time on the business or step out. Like I was telling you earlier today, like we had a really rough weekend with our kids, right? My oldest, she's 23 months and she's just like really struggling with having another baby in the house. She's just not like, she's going through her too. So it's just like really tough for her. And it's been like brutal last month and this weekend specifically. And I was telling my wife, like, you need a day off. So we had a 1 month appointment for the little one, and then he's fine. And then I booked her like a spa. I was like, go take the afternoon. You need to go and like
Good man.
you just need to
Good
reset.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she just needed to reset, right? Like, hey, we have all this stuff to do. I was like, it's okay. Like there's something like get in the right state of mind, and tomorrow we'll come back and we'll grind on it. But we have that optionality, right? Where
Yeah.
if you're in a job, you can't just like Monday before Thanksgiving weekend, like you're expected. It doesn't really matter your personal situation. Like
Totally.
you don't have a choice. And I that's the thing that I cherish about this job and this what we built is that we have optionality. I really enjoy working. I love working actually, and so does she. But we can be like, okay, don't work this afternoon. Take care of yourself, and then we'll come back and drive, because we both believe in this mission that we both have set out 6 years ago to do together. How has it impacted your relationship with Andy? Like, how has this last few months, weeks, you guys, has he sent you
Do
in
we
a
still
spa
like
day?
each other? Yeah.
You still like each other?
Just spa, darn it. I was crying in an airport.
I know. I'll tell him when I see him.
You should. No, it's so fun. It's really, I think we found that thing that we can both be co-passionate about again. And not that we're not co-passionate about our family. Like we have things, we have kids, we have 3 children to be co-passionate about. But just the exercise of, having a work that we are both equally invested in and that we're speaking the same language on, what we were talking about before. I think maybe not every couple is suited for that type of connection. It might behoove some other people to have separate ventures, but for us, we really enjoy sharing life together and sharing that part of ourselves and our life together. So it's been really fun. We missed it. Like it was part of the grieving process of having left overseas and moving over here. We really missed that joint venture part component of our lives. And so we have it back now, and it's fun.
I think of it as like a third muscle between couples. And I think for me and Liz, it's really made our relationship not stronger, but just even richer, because we have just a lot of different things to talk about. It's helped us become better parents too. It's really helped us become better parents too, just because we know how to work with each other on a different level. And the way I think about it, it's just you have the relationship between you and Andy like before, right? Just like you guys like each other, right? Like you guys got married. There's the personal relationship, and then most people have like kids, right? You have the kid stuff, right? It's a different kind of relationship you guys have. It's like mother and father, caretaker. You just got to deal with the kids sometimes, and then but that most people don't have that third thing and it could be a hobby, right, where you both like enjoy, like running or some sport or specific interests.
Right.
Happens, but maybe not as, it's hard to be that deep into it, especially when you have kids and work. But if your
Hmm.
work is the
Hmm.
same, then you have work and you're together, yeah, and your
Yeah.
partner, and when you both rely on it to feed each other, and there's that sense of urgency. Yeah, you don't have to go for a run every day together if you're like not talking to each other, if you're mad about something. But you try, I know you're only a few weeks into this, but you try having a 2 week argument together when you're trying to run a business, it absolutely doesn't work. Like you're like, look, we got, okay, I don't know, you're mad at me, I'm mad at you, whatever it is, let's hash it out right now, because we're not gonna go to bed like with this in here,
Yeah.
because like tomorrow we have like X, Y, and Z to do, and we need to be like fully focused, or like we don't eat. We always say we don't eat. This is for hyperbole, but like it's true in a
Mm.
sense too, right? Like this is what feeds this family, so we have to
Yeah.
like both get on board, and it's like a forcing function. It really forces you to like work together, and then you're just like, ah, it's not important. I don't care. All the little things you probably would have got mad at before. Who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah.
Let's okay,
Yeah.
fine. Like you win, I
And
win. Who cares? Let's move forward.
and even like conversely to that, like celebrating where the other person shines.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoy like the aesthetic piece of setup and the experience. And then Andy is so good at getting a spreadsheet together and automating whatever we can. And I'm just like, babe, like you are so good at that. Thank you, because I'm not. And then conversely, it's just giving me props for whatever it is that like I'm putting together. I'm on top of these guest communications because first of all, because if we don't, then we don't eat. No, I'm just kidding. It's a little dramatic, but just to bring it back to that. But also, like, we want the business, we want those 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
But also, I really enjoy like hearing about this dude's birthday weekend and how our stay was just so great for him. And when he came in to look at this exhibit, like, I love it. And that's not Andy's jam. Andy's not getting jazzed about the fact that this mom's coming in to host a birthday party for her little girl.
Not the Andy I've met.
He's a good time.
That's not his. Oh, look, I'm sure Andy will watch this and throw something at this monitor when he hears you say that. But no, I mean, like, well, we all find the joy of the part of business. And like, your design looked really good, by the way. Like, you did a really nice job with how it came together. And it's really important. The more this Airbnb business, because we're professionalized, there's a term called like the thumb stop ratio, which just means like when someone's scrolling, when they stop to the thumb to go look at your listing. And that's really important. And that's where like design, that first page, like that hero image, those first few images, the higher thumb stop rate you have, the better it'll be. And that's where it's just so much more competitive now. If you have crappy design and a bad photo, like you just put yourself behind the 8 ball. Like you've done all the hard. I tell people, like, you've done all the hard work. You're like crying in an airport, like you've done, your hands hurt, your feet hurt, you haven't gone to the bathroom, but you're tired. And the worst thing that happened is you do all this work and then you take some crappy photos and or you don't stage it properly. And
Right.
then all the hard work doesn't get conveyed. Because ultimately, like on these websites, like what you're selling is photos, right? You're selling is your photo and your listing title in the beginning, and they click on it, and then it's your reviews and your description and the first 5 photos, right? Like that is the funnel. So if you don't, you can have the best listing ever, but if you don't get those first 2 steps, and design is such a big part of it. So kudos to you for doing such a great job. And yeah, and thank you for highlighting that. I think it's a way to like really praise your partner. It's not like, oh, you're such a good dad, or it can be a little, okay, yeah, fine, thank you. It's something real that you can be like, hey, like you did a really great job, and look at the money, look at the profit margin, look what we can do. And it's very tangible, the process. You can see it's like the revenue, the units, the profitability. And yeah, it's just a nice way to, I'm like lost for words. It's just a nice way to grow with your
Live.
partner. Yeah,
Yeah, it
live.
is.
It really
It is.
is. It's a lot of work, but it's, yeah. And I never tell, like, it's a lot of work, but it's if you can get to where you want to be, like the rewards are just they're just so compelling. And you can just break out of that there's this meme I saw online too, where it's this person just going up for air and then the curtain goes over them. Like you're just every 2 weeks you're up and down. You're like holding your breath for 2 weeks just to work for that paycheck to come up and down. Like to break out of that cycle is just such a better way. It's a better way to live.
Yeah.
As we wrap up the conversation, like what advice do you have for couples that are looking to build an Airbnb business together, or really any business together? Like it sounds like you had a little bit of, you guys had some training before, right? You guys worked on something together, and then you had to leave, and so you guys weren't able to continue that. But just any advice for couples that
Yeah, first, a couple starting any venture together, I think finding your center is a huge one. And I think, yeah, we were so fortunate to be able to have like really hard things happen to us early on in our journey as a married couple, journey as parents, that just remember what's important. Like you like each other. Like when it starts getting too loud that you can't remember that, maybe put it on a shelf and have fun together. Remember what your center is. Like you like each other. This might be intense. It's okay. What really matters. And throughout all of the challenges that we've had, I would love to hear Andy's take on this too, because he's just so wise and smart, and he's such a good balance to me.
I know we'll ask him on this week's mentorship call. So
Yes.
we'll get his view.
But I think that principle of, yeah, just like whatever's going on, get back to the heart of what is really important. And then like remind yourself of that. And then like when it's time to pick it back up, go forward with that perspective.
That's great advice. How are you thinking about 2024 mid-November? What's the goal? I know you're a very goal-oriented person.
Yeah.
What's the goal for the next 12 months?
Andy and I, we're going to talk about that on Thursday, Michael, because I am like pedal to the metal. I love it. I'm chomping at the bit to get into another unit. I would do one next week if I could. We want
Just
to
take the whole family for Thanksgiving and just ship 3 kids to work.
That's where Andy's such a good balance, because I legit had that as an idea. I'm not even
I believe it.
Yeah. So we're definitely going to procure get a couple more units in the start of 20. We want to grow and scale in a responsible and conscientious manner. So for sure, we're starting 2024 with a couple more units, but we'll see how closely we can get to where our lofty goals are.
Is there like a unit number or revenue number that you want to hit by end of 2024? Listen, we're having this conversation. You're back on the show in a year. It's November 13th, 2020. Ideally, how many units does Julie and Andy have?
We have 8 to 10.
8 to 10.
November of 2024. And I want to say that is a responsible and cautious number.
It's a responsible goal, and I will wager that you will exceed that goal actually.
Love it.
You will do it with very healthy 25% plus cash margins too. So and just it's not about unit count. Revenue absolutely does not matter if you're not profitable. Like it doesn't mean a darn thing. So all it matters is like what is your cash flow. If you get $1 revenue, like what of that is staying in your pocket, and at least you should get 25 cents from that. That's how you're gonna get this business to really work for you. And yeah, I'm super excited for you and Andy. I know I'm glad he arranged you a little bit and shipping the family off to the East Coast to set up units over Thanksgiving. I'm sure it's not that Liz would probably be the one that'll bring me back. I'd probably be like, yeah, my kids are old enough, be like, let's just go and do it. I don't care. It's a way to spend time together. We can get KFC and I'll be like,
right?
Thanksgiving. Yeah, hey, why not? Like before we end the show, and my traditional closing question: now, business is a team sport, and we wouldn't be where we are without the folks around us. So maybe not the most obvious answer, but what is one of the kindest things that someone has done for you along this journey?
Our STR journey?
Yes.
One of the kindest things, the property leasing manager that we signed our leases with was so kind when we first connected. We had just like really good connection from the get-go. And long story short, on our last day in the units, like on my last day there in town, setting up the units, she wanted to get together and sat down with me in her office and just shared with me a little bit about her life, and very kind in reciprocating what I had just said. Like she just said, I just had a good feeling, Julie, like from even through emails, she said. It was really cool. She said,
That's
even
nice.
through emails, I could hear the kindness. And I just thought, I got to meet this girl. And she said, I know another operator in the area, and I knew her when she first started. And now her company has scaled to hundreds of units, and they just signed a lease for X amount in this building. And she said, I want to see you succeed. And so she said, we're going to stay in touch, and I want to see you succeed. And it just blew me away, because you start your outreach and you start like making connections with these like entities on the other side of an email screen, and there's people on the other side of them, but it's just spaghetti on a wall. Like what's going to stick, what's going to turn warm. And for that to materialize into sitting in this woman's office, and she gave me a warm hug at the end of it. Yeah, like just
So nice.
that is just like really an unexpected blessing throughout the whole process. So I think that would be my answer. That was the kindest thing
That's
from
so nice. And I think a lot of people think it's like this, and thank you for sharing that. I think a lot of people think rental arbitrage or just like working with a landlord when you rent your property, it's like this adversarial kind of thing where it's
mm,
like, why would
mm,
they let you do that? Are you doing it behind their back? It's like, no, they want you find the places that they want you to do it. They're like supporting you because you're solving a business problem for them. They have a vacancy, you're taking them, you're doing something with it, you're being upfront, you're being a real business person, all those things. And some people like don't think of it as this adversarial thing. Like you both are business owners and you're just trying to come to a business agreement. And it's so great that you're able to, I think that's to your credit, I think your kindness, your personal joyfulness, I think comes out when you talk to
mm.
people. And I think that's, a big recipe or success. I'm excited to see how you guys do. I'm glad you're not shipping a family out halfway across to put together furniture over Thanksgiving, maybe Christmas, maybe not Thanksgiving. But I'm excited to see what comes. And I look forward to having you back in a year and you can update us on everything that's happened since then.
All right. The date.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, Julie.